Shalom Israel. Akatazwan coming at you with a video, right? And today the video is going to be titled, as you see, Pillar of Salt, right? And I want to go into, going back into this world, or holding on to things of this world, right? And we're going to bring it out. We're going to read it in the book of Genesis, right? I'm trying to keep this video kind of short, right? Just bringing out precepts before I go to work, right? But we got to do the work of the Lord one way or another. Just the book of Genesis, chapter 19, in verse 26, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to start at verse 24. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven, and he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground. So, we know modern day America is Sodom and Egypt, right? You got the Pride Month, you got pedophilia and being legalized. You got on Netflix, you got all this pedophilia going around, sodomy at an all-time high. Everybody want to be a tranny, right? It's America got 60 genders, right? So this is madness, right? Sodom and Egypt, right? That's verse 26. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt, right? So there we go. Lot's wife turned behind. The Lord said not to look behind her. He said run and don't look back, right? She looked back and got turned to a pillar of salt, right? So when you looking back into the ways of the world, smiling and giggling at videos how you used to smoke and blow the smoke through your mouth and inhale through your nose real slow, right? Blowing O's, right? Or looking at your old chats on how you used to flirt and get the ladies, right? You looking back and you smiling and you being, you rejoicing at the old you, or whatever it might be, right? You turning back to a pillar of salt. Don't get caught in the ways. She looked back and she felt bad, right? She didn't want Sodom and Gomorrah to be destroyed, right? That's like you being sad over California burning up. Right, that's like you being sad at anything bad that goes down in America. You looking at the riots and you getting sad about it, right? You gotta rejoice in the ways and then being destroyed of this wicked world, Salakia, right? So she looked back and she got turned to a pillar of salt. You can't look back in your old ways, right? You're gonna get turned to a pillar of salt, right? You're gonna be put to death one way or another, destroyed, right? Right, real quick. Let's get the book of Proverbs. What I want. Slakia. Proverbs 26 and 11. The book of Proverbs, chapter 26 and verse 11. As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly, right? So don't be that dog turning to your vomit, right? Turning to your folly. That's what she would have done. If the Lord would have never destroyed it or destroyed it halfway, left some of it going, and the people would have survived, she would have been like, Lot, I can't do this. You could go be a man of the Lord, and I'm going to go live in Sodom and Gomorrah, right? She would have been that dog returning back to his vomit, living and dwelling in folly, right? So, you brothers, especially in these last days, they talking about vaccination. They giving you a month that it's going to be ready. Just know, everything is going to change once those vaccinations come out, right? So y'all brothers got to stay strong and be diligent and fast and fast as much as you can. Pray and, get your faith up, get your strength up, your will up, just go all out now. Go all out. They giving you a time, the Lord put on the spirit of Esau to give Jake a time and giving us a date and say it's gonna be ready here. Jacob's trouble is gonna be around that date, so we gotta prepare. Pray for the best but expect the absolute worst, right? We're gonna stay in Proverbs real quick, right? Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 10. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not, right? So consent thou not to the sinners, right? Let's see if I could read on in that. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. If they say, come, let us lay wait for blood, let us lurk privately for the innocent without cause, right? So if sinners say, That's why you're not supposed to hang around your old buddies that's still selling drugs and selling weed. You know, you could give them the word all day, right? But if they're not trying to hear it, they rolling up and they rolling up and like, word, yeah, word, I feel you, bro. You know, you telling them what's going down and they not trying to hear it. You know, why even hang out with them? Why even be around them and do things with them? Because soon enough, they're going to pass you the blunt and you're going to take a hit, right? You're going to return to your old vomit. You know, that you never know. That might be your last hit before you start going back into the ways of the world. You don't want to wear your fringes no more, you know. So let's read that again. My son, of sinners entice thee, consent thou not. If they say, come, let us lay wait for blood, let us lurk privately for the innocent without cause, right? So then, you know, you might want to sell drugs with them again. You know, let us wait on a corner, right, and wait for the crackheads to come around. You know, let us wait around in the club to fill up on some harlots. You know, let us do this drive by, right? So that's why you're not supposed to hang around your old friends, man. You're gonna turn back to your father and get turned to a pillar of salt, right? The Lord is gonna leave you here in the land of Sodom and Egypt and destroy you, man, right? Let's get another one. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 11. But now I have written unto you not to keep company, if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, with such and one know not to eat. Right, let me read that again, Salakia. But now I have written unto you not to keep company, if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous. Salakia. But now I have written unto you not to keep company, if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, with such and one. How's it going? And one not to eat. So we can't keep company with these people because, you know, all we're going to do is just wind up going back to our folly, going back to the ways of the world. We're going to start reminiscing, right? We're going to start looking at every girl. You know, we might, you know, brothers might turn back and want to date an Edomite, man. You know, brothers might want to take Edomite up to wife, man. You can't return back into our folly and go back into this madness, right? Let's go back to Proverbs. Right, Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 16. For a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. Right, man. So when you being wicked, you're gonna keep falling into mischief. You're gonna want to fornicate. You're gonna want to be an abuser of thyself with mankind. You know, you might start thinking homosexuality is okay. You might not be a homosexual. You know, you might not be a sodomite, but you might be like, you know what, let him do what he want to do. You know, if that's how they want to live, that's how they want to live. You know, you start thinking wicked thoughts, and you know the thoughts come from your heart. You know, you just might fall out, man. You get turned to a pillar of salt, be a dog, returning back to his vomit. Right? Let's go to the book of John, man. Right, especially in these last days, these videos, you know, it's important to meditate on precepts, man. It's important to really get in the spirit. You know, if your candle stick, you know, if your candlelight been fading away, you got to do whatever you got to do to get that spirit burning as much as it can. Be on fire as much as you can, right? Be on fire, man. Do OT, make videos, man. Fast, if you know. Just do whatever you can, man. Sleep over a brother's house, man, if your spirit not feeling right? And read and talk about the scriptures all day. Get that spirit back right. Said again that in John, we'll get that next. We'll go to Mark. We'll go to the book of Mark, chapter 4. You know, excuse the background, you know, excuse the pausing of the video, you know. Just the book of Mark, chapter 4, in verse 3, right? Hearken, behold, there went out a sower to sow. And it came to pass, as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and the fowls of the air come and devoured it up. And some fell on the stony ground, where it had not much earth, and immediately it sprang up, because it had no depth of earth. But when the sun was up, it was scorched, and because it had no root, it withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no fruit. And other fell on good ground, and did yield fruit, and sprang up, and increased, and brought forth some 30, and some 60, and some 100. Right? Verse 14. The sower soweth the word, but these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown. But they that have heard saying cometh immediately, and taketh away the word that is sown in their hearts. And these are they likewise, which are sown on stony ground, who when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness, and have no root in themselves, and so endure but for a time. Afterward, when affliction or persecution arises for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. Right? So immediately they want to give it up. Right? Don't be those brothers, man. Because you just going to get turned into a pillar of salt last minute. You want to shave your beard off. Cleave onto Esau. Right? At the time where Esau, he's at his last push. Right? You want to cleave onto Esau. Esau is at his last 5 minutes, and you want to give it all up. Verse 17. Verse 18. And these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lust of other things, entering it, choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful. Right? So that's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of people in this truth. They hear the word, but that was Lot's wife, right? She knew the word. Her husband was a good man of the Lord, right? And she looked back to Sodom and Gomorrah, right? That choked her up, and she got literally turned into a pillar of salt, because the cares of this world, Sodom and Gomorrah, choked her up, and she got turned into a pillar of salt, right? Verse 20. And these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word, and receive it, and bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. All right, so there we go. There's gonna be brothers that got that fire burning. It might have went out a little bit. Not completely out. They might have fell down in the spirit. But they didn't give it up. They was sown on good ground. At the end of the day, that's just how it was written out. But you still gotta, try your best. It's not saying, well, I keep getting into folly, man. That's it. I'm done for. I'm just gonna give it all up. Don't be one of those people, man. Try and strive for the best. Right? Let me get another precept. All right, this is John chapter 8, verse 1. Yahushua went unto the Mount of Olives, and early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery, and when they had set her in the midst, and say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. So she was caught red-handed, committing adultery. Now Moses and the law commanded us that we should, that such should be stoned. But what sayest thou? This they said, tempting him, and they might have to accuse him. But Yahushua stooped down, and with his finger he wrote on the ground, as though he heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto him, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convinced by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest even unto the last. And Yahushua was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. And Yahushua had lifted up himself, and saw none but the woman. He said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers? Hath no man condemned thee? She said, No man, Lord. And Yahushua said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. Right? So you can't just, be, a righteous man follows. A just man follows him in time. So you can't just be caught in your sin, and brothers is getting on you, right? And you You know, you just like, you know what? I'm tired of them rebuking me. I'm done. You know, you blocking brothers, and you know you trying to be done and over with brothers, man. You know, take the rebuke. You know, Yahushua said, what he say, man? He said, neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. Right? So, you know, we gonna fall. You know, even the most righteous brothers fall sometimes. Right? So you gonna fall. Right? Get back up. Repent. You know, pray to the Lord. Fast. Do what you gotta do, and try your best not to sin no more. Right? That's the key. Right? Because the Lord said in Luke. Let me get that through the Spirit. I'm pretty sure it's Luke 5. Right? No, it's Luke 13. Right? He said in the book of Luke 13 and verse 5, I tell you, nay, but except you repent, you shall all likewise perish. So we got a time to get it right in these last days, man. Right? So with that, all right, so Luke 13 and verse 5, I tell you, nay, but except you repent, you shall all likewise perish. So the Lord said, you know, like he said, he said, sin no more. Right? So if you don't, if you don't repent, pray and try your best not to keep sinning, because the Lord is going to spew you out his mouth if you being lukewarm in this truth. Right? So you got to try your best not to sin no more, man. Throw that old man away. Time is literally running out. We ain't got no more time. Right? So either you going to get right or get left. It's not a game. That lick of fire is not going to just be a hot shower, man. It's going to burn you forever and ever, man. So with that, I'm going to give a call, Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah. Shalom.